This is such like a random episode that I've just decided that I wanted to do, literally about 5 seconds before I did it. And like, it's just why? It's so weird. Hi, hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to the What is K-pop podcast, where in which I talk all things K-pop and like mainly including my like thoughts and feelings just generally about the genre and just like mainly just also stuff about me and my own life because like I can talk on my perspective on things and how K-pop has affected me as a person. I don't know how to explain it. But literally the title of this episode is going to be Why is K-pop such a hard genre to walk away from? Which I'm not saying that I am in any way, shape or form, mainly because I love it and I don't think I could ever stop being a fan of it all. And like, with like all the albums and stuff that I bought, I don't think that I could like fully ever just remove myself from all of that. Especially given this podcast, like I don't think I could do that. But just saying, this is just going to be like a casual little discussion thing. We haven't really got any points. It's mainly just me talking, probably talking at my ass for like 20 minutes. So I think for like a main thing as to why K-pop is so addicting, I guess you could say, is probably because of the albums and stuff. Like, I should know this, like, I have it written down actually. I wrote them all down on my birthday because I knew I wanted to talk about them. But I can find that list actually. This is what you get, boys and girls, when you start to write things down and then you end up losing them in the source of it all. Oh, there we go. I didn't write down numbers. That's always good. So I do have a lot. And I have like multiple of the same not multiple of the same album, but well, a few of them. So like ones from a lot of groups. Like I have Le Seraphim's latest trilogy, and I have Unforgiven, both Korean and Japanese. And I plan to also get their future. I think didn't they announce it? I don't know. They're probably having a comeback soon, and I'm planning to get like their debut and their first comeback, right? As well, and their corresponding Japanese releases. Like, that is a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, it's just like paper, like just paper products that you can just recycle. But it feels so much more than that. It feels like I'm saying that this group is important to me, that their music means something, because I feel like in the past, with record shops, for example, you could listen on what's it called, like a record player with actual vinyl records. And like, for example, my dad, he used to go to a record shop down in Exeter, and he would like listen obviously to records, and I think that's how he got into Led Zeppelin, which is I think there's 4 members in the band, and they like actually play instruments. And yeah, the drummer has passed away, but his son does performances. Like if well, they're not active, they don't do performances anymore. I'm speaking about this like it's K-pop, but they did like a reunion in like 2005, I think, for their anniversary, and there were potential talks. I think they were fake, that they might be coming back together in 2026. I don't know, but the son of the drummer like played with them, and they had kept on having to go back up to him and be like, "You're doing all right, mate." Like, obviously, he was like a really good drummer, and like quite a lot of the time when I come talking to people who don't know about K-pop, like those are some of like the groups that they talk about. And I would listen to those that music, obviously, like prior to me being 17. I would listen to rock music, I'd listen to 2000s music, 1990s music. I had like the influences of my parents and stuff, and like my sister. So obviously I'd listen to that sort of stuff. But K-pop to me has always felt so much more special and so much more creatively enabling, I guess. Because when like for like a Western artist, for example, like Justin Bieber, I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, I'm surprised he's released new music, because I'm sure he released his like album not too long ago. And I think, wasn't it Changes? I don't know. That was back in 2021. And he released like an album, like two albums within like 6 months of each other. Did a Taylor Swift. I think it was last year or like this year. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't listen to Western music much at all now. And like he curated that album to flow like a piece of music. He like flowed it in a way to tell a story, or I guess like made 15 songs that all kind of sound like they could be in like if you played it in shuffle and you had these songs, they all kind of sound as though they would go together, which you know is it's the purpose of an album. But for K-pop, like you have, I don't know, like sometimes it's only like two or three songs that kind of coexist with each other, and then you have like a ballad, and then you have a random song, and then you kind of have a song that sounds again like the title track or the other couple of songs. And I almost kind of enjoy that. You know, with Golden Hour Part 3, we had Lemon Drop Masterpiece, Now This House Ain't a Home at Castle, and then The Bridge, The Edge of Reality. Lemon Drop feel obviously it's like a summary song. Masterpiece like kind of drops that down and really gets into like the grooviness that we come to know as being is. Then Now This House Ain't a Home is, you know, an English track, and it kind of it like it's so funny, like I didn't clock the lyrics for a long time, like a good couple of days, and I'd listened to it quite a lot. But it's about broken relationships and stuff, and you know, it wouldn't scream 80s to me, but it obviously it is, and it's a good song. And Castle, I'm trying to think of what Castle sounds like actually, but I can't. And then I assume The Bridge of Reality is just like instrumentation. It's not. Does it have lyrics? No, it does have lyrics. Like I assume it's like a spoken word thing, and that you know it ties the project together, and then it flows into the guys' solo stuff that they did. Like they released like a month or so afterwards. And those sorts of projects, they are like mini snippets of a idea that if they were a Western artist, they would blow up a lot more and kind of explore in a lot bigger of a project. And while I understand Western artists taking a lot longer to make these projects, work a lot longer on them, and like release music videos and stuff over a long period of time, and then go on tour for a long time, like I almost enjoy K-pop's fast pacedness. And I think because of the fact that it's so it is oversaturated, but it's so saturated to the point that every single week there's a new like project being released, that you don't ever really have to wait that long for a new project to kind of come along. Like when, literally this morning, when I was, so I'm recording this on the same day as the car accident episode went out, and the episode on Alpha Drive 1 came out. Like, I was working on the September in review stuff. Like, you know, like, stuff is always coming out. Like, for example, Hearts to Hearts, Boy Next Door, NMIX, Tempest, Meow, Beijing Young, who used to be in CIX. All those people are making comebacks next month. And, you know, there's not going to be much time between these things. And, you know, as a fan of a lot of these groups and stuff, and particularly Jip, it's wonderful, you know, that you don't ever have to wait that long for things. Like, it feels wonderful to know that these projects are coming out so regularly. But it's also, on the other side of the coin, is also not that these projects do come out that often, with Meowth, just going on to their Wikipedia page, they debuted literally like 385 days ago. They had their 1 year anniversary on the 6th of September, like earlier this month. Like, that is crazy that they've already, released quite a fair bit of music, kind of. They obviously released they've released 6 songs, which, I mean, granted, doesn't seem that much compared to like if you release your first studio album and then are like promoting it for a while, you'd probably have like 12 tracks on it. But the fact that it was Meow first, then in November it was Body and Toxic, and then I have to think about this. It wasn't until the end of April when we got Hands Up, which was the pre-release to My Eyes Open Wide, which was released on... When was it released? I think I was on holiday when it was released. It would have been the 4th of May? The 12th of May, yeah. And obviously it was with Lit Right Now and Drop Top, like they were released with the EP. Then Me was released afterwards. And now we're gonna be getting, it says album, but it could very realistically be an EP. But I do hope it is an album actually, because that would be pretty good. And they're kind of label mates, but like cousin label mates-esque. Baby Monster released Batter Up. We're not even going to try and say random things. I'm trying to get onto their thingy actually. Yeah. Oh, they do have. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I wonder if Rami's going to come back soon. But yeah, they debuted with Batter Up in late November. Then they released Stuck in the Middle again. Fresh Chef's Kiss. I love that song. And then 2 months later, they actually made their full, I guess, like debut is what they kind of say it as, but like their comeback with Baby Monster with a 7, and they released Sheesh with that, and then like that Stuck in the Middle with 7, Batter Up with 7, Dream, which had been released previously, and then Monsters has been in the intro, and then a remix of Stuck in the Middle. Like it's kind of drip feeding us content, and I actually, again, I really do like it because it doesn't feel too much like we're listening to the same songs all the time. Like I was kind of like during the pandemic. Yeah, pretty much like I like started really listening to music on Spotify a lot of the time, like whilst I was just like pondering as to when we would be let out of our houses. Like I was really struggling to kind of find songs that I could listen to without it feeling monotonous. And obviously then in March of 2021 I found Kpop, and the rest is history. Oh, the February I should say. Like I could, like, so much music from so many different artists have been released in the past 4.5 years, and if I got together a load of the artists that I listened to before, it wouldn't be the same amount at all. Like for Justin Bieber, it wouldn't be practically anything at all compared to the quite frankly disgusting amount of music I have listened to over the past few years. Like it feels so cool. It feels special. It feels like these idols, like it's gonna sound really weird, but it feels like these idols are my friends. That's parasocial, first of all, don't do that. And that they're like giving us presents constantly, and that they work hard for them. And I'm pleased that, a lot of like they're getting to live out their dreams. I know some, but then I don't really want them to work too hard. Like again, with Baby Monster, they have Chiquita. She's like 16 years old. Like, I really don't want her to have to work too hard. And obviously, Rami's still on hiatus and stuff. So I really do hope that all idols get a good amount of rest. But I also understand that at the same time, they don't, and we can't say that we want X idols to have a comeback, but then also say we want X idols to have a rest. When Esper took like 10 months from Girl Spicy, yeah, Spicy, like fans were begging for them to have a comeback, but then like you complain when groups have multiple projects in a year. Like, which one is it? Where are you mad? Please do tell me which one you want it to be, because you cannot have it both ways. Either you have like you have someone working, or you don't have someone working. Like, which one is it? I hope that makes some sort of sense. I don't know. Also, does anyone wish that like G-Dragon would come back again and may have like multiple releases again? Because again, like he debuted as like a soloist I was actually just reading it. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? I can find it. G-Dragon discography. Do. Yeah, so he had his first studio album, Heartbreaker, in 2009. Which, let me say, Heartbreaker as like a song, it was bad for a while. I couldn't stop listening to that song for a good while. And that was like a 10-song body of work, which is a good amount. And then 4 years later, like he released another studio album, Coup d'etat. Coup d'etat? I don't know how to say it. Basically a dance term for two people dancing together. And again, it was bad. I kept on listening to that song over and over again. And also Crooked, because Crooked, I quickly figured out the music video was filmed in London, and it just instantly made me love it even more. It was bad for a while. And then, he released... Oh, he also released he released One of a Kind in between Heartbreaker and Coup d'etat. And then afterwards, he released Kwang Ji-yeon in 2017. And what was fascinating was that it was in a USB stick, which, iconic, amazing, man. But then it meant that obviously he didn't get as good of a sales. And then just recently he came back with Übermensch. It's a German word. I don't know how to say that word. Like, it feels consistent enough that it doesn't feel like we're listening to things too much. Kind of. Except from obviously the period in between Kwang Ji-yeon and Übermensch. But that was because of military service and then him just not working for a good couple of years and then having problems with YG and then joining Galaxy Corporation and all of that box, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, originally it was actually meant to come back in 2023. YG'd. But speaking actually again of YG as well, like his company's groups tend to follow the idea of give them lots of stuff to begin with and then completely forget about their group for like years. Again, it's kind of funny, but also it's kind of annoying too. And I even said this was actually really funny. It was announced that renewed their contracts early, and I was like, why? Why would they do that? And some little fucking idiot, fucker, commented, replied to my comment and was like, well, you clearly don't know Treasure. I'm like, yeah, I don't, because YG does like that about the basement. That's why I don't know them. It's not funny, but I seriously don't know what they are doing. I also don't see their faces enough, so I don't even know what they look like that much. So how about we tone that down? But yeah, it's so weird. And I really do like Treasure's music. But again, YG never lets them out that basement, which is a massive concern for a group that's like meant to be growing. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much as a K-pop fan. I more than likely am. So if anyone wants to tell me off, feel free. I don't care. Like it's just so strange, so unbelievably strange. But yeah, they released like a project, and then a few months later, they released like a whole album of like Japanese songs. It's extremely odd. I don't like it. Just do better. YG, please do better. Or better yet, just let them go to a different company that can actually, manage them. I don't I don't think that's too much to ask for. It probably is though. Oh, so they released two EPs this year. Maybe I'm talking bullshit. I more than likely am. Then they released like this is what I don't get is again these things aren't like advertised. So as like a fan, or not even a fan, it's just a person. Like I don't know that these things are happening. And then, like, unless you're like a treasure maker, which is our fandom name, like you don't know shit about what's happening with some groups, and it's like, why bother? Like again, why bother being a K-pop fan? But no, I think it isn't hard to leave K-pop if you're willing to do it, and if have a life beyond music and like reviewing music for fun. You get drip fed a lot of music a lot of the time, so I guess that doesn't help things. So it was a Japanese album. That explains it. Yeah. Would anyone love if I reviewed Treasure's music? Because I kind of want to just listen to their music in general, like from the start again. But if people want me to review it, then I am more than happy to. If I can scroll down, that would be wonderful. So at least I know how much I have to listen to. And so we have like the first step and the second step, and then reboot. Don't think I'll listen to the live albums, and then yeah, okay, we can do that. Yeah, I might do it in a minute. But yes, that is how. What? I've forgotten what I said the title was going to be now. I'll see in the transcript here. So, yeah, thank you as always for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.